Columbus, a man of his time, slaughtered Arawak natives to further his kind, and they stayed of mind. And their take on the divine allowed them to be so inclined to send ships with guns, filled with men with swords, so filled with the love of the Lord that they do whatever's necessary for their position. That is the decision when they on a mission. That is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Imperialism. That is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Yeah. Now every second Monday in October we hold a celebration for a Western soldier who brought over a culture manifestly destined to rule and take over. Funny how in the name of Jehovah you supposed to be the landowner more so than the first holder. Ask them natives in Plymouth about the caravan next to the boulder. From what they told ya in high school about righteous conquest and brave explorers, little revealed about the millions killed with the government quill try to seal up the horror. Hey, the superpowers locked in the chess match like cool cats. They sit back to see who is dispatched. Resist that, do the tax, promote armed attacks with gift packs plus import crack. Now tell me what you think about that. Do it sound familiar to me too, cousin? I feel ya. And all because I picked up a book, then looked, then was shook by the shit these crooks done took. Chris Columbus, a man of his time, slaughtered Arawak natives to further his kind, and they stayed of mind. And their take on the divine allowed them to be so inclined to send ships with guns, filled with men with swords, so filled with the love of the Lord that they do whatever's necessary for their position. That is the decision when they on a mission. That is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Imperialism. That is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Imperialism. Hey, but not long after the shock of being enslaved, recovery efforts are made to educate the people depraved, terrorized in a way diabolical, physical, psychological, part of an economical interest, an ill-fated rolling a tempest of humanity's ultimate sin fest. The obliteration of braves and a savage middle passes to a civilized way, mixed and mingled by the gringos, giving new lingo plus Chris Gringo. Decimated families to sing those mijo, thank God for Santo Domingo, and them sugar plantation jingles, songs of freedom. Hit them drums, it's time to beat them. Teach them about the blood shed for the love of who we are. See, we Chris Columbus, a man of his time, slaughtered Arawak natives to further his kind, and they stayed of mind. And their take on the divine allowed them to be so inclined to send ships with guns, filled with men with swords, so filled with the love of the Lord that they do whatever's necessary for their position. That is the decision when they on a mission. That is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Imperialism. That is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? What we talking about? Ships with guns, filled with men with swords, so filled with the love of the Lord that they do whatever's necessary for their position. That is the decision when they on a mission. That is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Imperialism. That is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Imperialism.
Hey guys, it's Buddha Gem here. I know, you probably think that nuclear annihilation, global warming, peak oil, and a host of other problems we're facing should be front and center, but that's because you don't understand the threat of cultural Marxism and who's behind it.
Parties are controlled by the Jews.
The Jews, yes. The Jews are behind it, wouldn't you know? Apparently some of these wild and crazy Semites escaped from Germany before Hitler could get them in the gas chamber, and they made their way to our shores with a plan for destroying our very society. To better understand this powerful theory, you have to understand the mind of the Jew.
Gee, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
So these dirty, rotten Jew bastards from the so-called Frankfurt School of Philosophers plan to try and convince mainstream Americans that white ethnic pride is bad, sexual liberation is good, and that supposedly traditional American values, Christianity, family values, and so on, are reactionary and bigoted. With their core values subverted, the theory goes, Americans would be quick to sign up for the ideas of the far left. And we all know the world is controlled
controlled by Jewish bankers. We all know that Jewish bankers are left.
Jews and communists and Marxists, oh my. Well, you get the idea. Fellow YouTuber Schizapriori recently attempted to teach me about cultural Marxism. He quoted people with fancy degrees in a video entitled Schizo's Rational Rebuttal to Buddhism. What you won't find in his video, however, is any proof that such a conspiracy actually exists. Now, do you need a degree in bullshit detection to know a conspiracy theory that posits a small group of Jewish philosophers have turned our universities into ivy-covered North Koreas is bullshit? Do you need a degree in anything to know that Pat Buchanan is full of shit when he claims that the Frankfurt School commandeered the American mass media and used this cartel to infect the minds of Americans? I hope not. I really hope not. Apparently, the cute rubber duck I had in my last video was quoting esteemed Professor Frank Ellis. The same Frank Ellis who, according to the BBC, which is probably owned and controlled by Jewish bankers, was suspended 2 years ago for publishing his racist views in the school newspaper. Look, I can find people with really, really fancy degrees that will say just about anything. We have the fringe scientists who claim global warming isn't caused by humans, or the ones who claim Darwin got it all wrong. There are the fringe linguists who think Noam Chomsky is overrated in the world of linguistics. And I recently had an exchange with a professor of political science who actually asked me why no state had adopted anarchism. Well, you get my point. When it comes to politics, don't be frightened by idiots who hide behind their degrees to make a point. If you take a look at the arguments posited by white nationalists, they're getting more and more sophisticated, dressing up their arguments in scientific jargon and the like. Not much different from evolution of creationist arguments that went from the Bible to intelligent design. If you take a whiff, it's bullshit, no matter how you dress it up.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Gotta see it international. I mean, you're taking interest in world affairs, baby. Ha. Yeah, here we go. Uh-oh. Switch it up on they ass. This is the world party. Yeah. And I'm ready. Take it back for him.
That sound like setup.
Uh-oh. Here we go. What?
This is setup? This is setup.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.